get right into this. Thank you. Good morning, my fellow Americans, friends, family, academic adjudicators, Peter Lucia. Thank you all for being here today. And thank you, Mr. Lucia, for pronouncing the valedictorian and the salutatorian's names correctly. It is a great honor to speak in front of you all, as I thank you for my past 4 years in office as president of the United Class of 2017. I'm sorry, I realize that impersonation may be a bit outdated, 134 days to be exact, but personally Trump is a little more difficult to imitate. On that note, this summer is gonna be huge. While we're on the presidential topic, I would like to thank the wonderfully supportive class of 2017 for renominating me this past year. It was my first year that I had to campaign since freshman year, and my opposing delegate, Joe Carboni, wherever you are, where's he at? There he is, yeah, there he is. Joe ran on the threatening platform of building a wall between the middle school and the high school. And while that is impossible, the concept did work for someone. Standing up here on this stage before you all today, I dwell behind this podium, and looking at all of you graduates, I realize that our class of 2017 is undoubtedly one of the best looking classes of all time, and that deserves an applause. Cheering for puberty, yeah! The transition stage of puberty kind of took its toll on me. We can all agree that middle school was the dark age, to say the least, but I would like to personally apologize to any of my teachers at the time, whether they're in the audience or not, who were put in an uncomfortable position after addressing me as Miss Weiner, or Miss Wiener for that matter. But that second mistake wasn't on me. I mean, that's on you. It's not my fault you can't read, but it's definitely my fault I didn't cut my hair. Not only has the class of 2017 matured physically, but personally we have come a long way. For example, in 8th grade, a couple troublemaking thugs decided to leave school and walk to the park in the middle of the last day of school before summer. Remarkably, the ringleader of those troublemakers just spoke as valedictorian of his class, Mr. Dan Lavelle. So if you are gifted with a rebellious child, either now, parents, or later in your life, graduates, have faith in them, because you never know, you might not have to pay for their college tuition. College is an experience that we will undoubtedly benefit from. You can ask any college graduate, whether it be a parent, any adult, a teacher. If you're going to ask a teacher, I would strongly recommend talking to Senora Gerard. Sus historias son locas. But they will, whoever it may be, they will definitely tell you that your college years will be the best years of your life, even though that's what we were told about elementary school, middle school, and high school. That being said, you can't live life waiting for the next milestone. Live in the moment, and please don't dwell on your high school years. Obviously, there are a lot of positive experiences associated with high school. Prom, Spirit Week, which, not to brag, but we swept this year. Popping bottles to celebrate the new year in Mr. Murphy's class. Obviously sparkling cider, that is. Taking naps in the theater storage room. Many, many naps. The list goes on and on. But I promise you, there's more to see in the rest of the world than inside of our bubble known as the Dirty G. And plus, Georgetown will always be here with far too many options for places to get pizza. But, I mean, if you're feeling homesick, just join the Georgetown Parents group on Facebook. There are debates on starting school later and whether or not that woman actually saw a puma in her backyard. are guaranteed to make you feel right at home. And they're probably not going to end anytime soon either, so if you stay tuned, I bet there will be plenty more X-ray images of kids getting fidget spinners lodged in their throat. But either way, we will always be a part of the Georgetown High School, oh, it's windy, class of 2017, or just 17. Either way, it doesn't have a very nice ring to it. I mean, especially if we're comparing it to when our parents graduated, like class of 79 or class of 84. It's unfair how much better that sounds than just 17. Looks better too. So, lucky for you guys, I made a few alternatives. We could instead call ourselves the class of square root 289. That sounds a little better. But I understand, Yak, that's kind of an advanced joke. But don't worry, I made one for you that's a little easier to follow. We could be the class of 8 plus 9. There you go. Also, the class of 51/3 sounds pretty cool. Or, oh, I like this one. We could be the class of Pip Cannon's 4th quarter physics grade. Regardless of what you call us, we made it. And it was definitely a job done. Reflecting on 4 years of high school is an arduous task, so I apologize for beating around the bush here a little bit. One thing that high school did help us with is finding out more about ourselves, whether it be our unique personalities, our new interests, closer friends. It was a huge jump from the, once again, dark ages of middle school. 9th through 12th grade also helped us realize what we want to do with our lives. For instance, Kai Yetten, an engineer, David Shane, a musician, Shay McFadden, an artist, Nate Willis, a cube, and we all know that John Mikey wants to be an accountant. Speaking of aspirations, I will never forget the day that I saw Jurassic Park for the first time. I remember jumping up from the couch and saying, "Mom, I want to be a dinosaur." She looked at me and said, "Ender, grow up. You graduate next week." So basically, if you only get one thing out of this speech, it's that you shouldn't let anyone tell you you can't be a dinosaur. Because although you can't, you can. Class of 51/3, you guys will always hold a special place in my heart. And I know that each and every one of you will go on to do amazing individual things. I'd like to close today with a quote from the individual with which I began this speech. This one is an actual quote from former President Barack Obama. And I find it appropriate given the change that this class has incited over the past year. The quote is, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." Before I leave, graduates, if you'll all join me in the peculiar ceremonial exercise of flipping your tassel to the left side and waiting for my cue, I'll count down, to toss our caps as a final hurrah. Thank you.